In this movie, we're going to look at creating audio markers. Now, realistically, there's no such animal as audio markers. I hate to be the bearer of bad news and kind of trick you into watching this movie, but we can create layer markers and use them as if they were audio markers. So I was only partially deceiving when I created the name of this movie. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this audio clip to the new comp icon. I have this wedge case clip audio file from the Chapter 16 folder. Now this is a clip that we're going to use a little bit later. This is again of my band here. And we have this song that starts with the keyboard intro. And then all the guitars and drums and everything come in and they go bum, 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 bum. And it sounds kind of cool. And so what we're going to do is pretend that we were animating to this and that we wanted to create markers. I mentioned before that you can open up the waveform and sync up your video to the waveform. Now we could look at the waveform, and even before I preview this, I can see that there's a little intro here, and at this line right here, right about there, everything comes in. But then it's just solid rock for the rest of the clip, and there's not really much differentiation as far as how to pick things out from this waveform. So we're going to create markers that will allow us to visually see where those points are without having to preview the audio over and over and over again. And again, the way that we're going to do this is with something called layer markers. Now, as you're kind of exploring After Effects, you might find a different kind of marker called a composition marker. Composition markers are for the entire composition. We can click this little shield here in the far right-hand side of the timeline panel, click and drag this over, and there we've set a composition marker. As I click a few more of these, you'll see that they are numbered sequentially. Now, markers in After Effects are just great. Let's say I wanted to jump to one of these 4 points here, either the 0, 1, 2, or 3. All I have to do to jump my current time indicator to that particular marker is to hit that corresponding number on the main area of the keyboard. Now, typically, we've been playing around with the numeric keypad. This will not work for that. We have to be using the numbers on the main area of the keyboard. So if I type 0, 1, 2, 3, I could jump to those points in time. This is an amazing time saver. Oftentimes when you're animating something, you'll probably notice that there are segments that your work can be divided up into. Being able to use comp markers to jump to those particular segments can really help. To delete composition markers, I could just right-click on a marker and I could select delete this marker or delete all markers, which is what I'm going to do here. Now, it's actually even easier to create a layer marker. To do this, I need to select a layer, and then I'm going to hit the asterisk key on the numeric keypad. Back to that old numeric keypad again. Hit that, and then you see that we've created a layer marker. Not a composition marker for the whole composition, just for this particular layer. So then we can use these same layer markers to mark up on our timeline certain audio points. And then as we're animating and moving our current time indicator around to set keyframes, we could line up our current time indicator with those layer markers. But again, just looking at this audio clip, I have no idea where to even put the layer markers because I can't tell from the waveform what's going on. Thankfully, After Effects allows us, as we RAM preview, to set layer markers. So in other words, while you are previewing, or RAM previewing, I should say, while you are RAM previewing your composition, you can hit the asterisk key on the numeric keypad. That asterisk key also doubles as the times sign when you're using multiplication in After Effects. But you can hit that sign while you're previewing, and then once you're done previewing, you will see that every time you press that button, a layer marker will be added to that corresponding spot on your layer. So let's see how this works. I'm going to hit the home key. And then I'm going to tap the asterisk in rhythm to the guitar riff when everything comes in. Okay, and so now, as I zoom into my timeline, there we have the audio markers. Dun, 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 dun. That's what these 4 little layer markers indicate. Now, sometimes they can be a hair off. As you can see here, very obviously, this area is where this first layer marker should probably be. Now, I promise you that I actually did hit it on the right time, but sometimes there is a little bit of a delay here. But nevertheless, as I zoom out of my timeline here, they do give us a good general idea of where we want to put our video action. Now, before we revisit this clip again and talk about converting the audio amplitude into keyframes, we're going to talk a little bit about audio effects in the next segment.